Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Rachel and I do plenty content, which is plenty repods, plenty hauls, plenty tours, all things plenty. So today I have a propagation pot up slash tiny plant pot up. So it's like a bunch of plants that have been sitting around either in propagation in water or a lot of alocasia corms that I have to pot up. I have a Hoya that I need to pot up. So it's just a bunch of little plants that need to be put into pots that are in propagation right now, or they are small plants that I've bought recently. But I thought it would be fun to kind of take you through what I do for small plants and what kind of mediums I use for different ones and stuff. Normally I save, I try not to like pot up different kinds of plants like in the same potting session. Like I try not to do like alocasias with Hoyas and stuff just because they have a lot of different substrates. I put them in different, soil types and stuff, so it can get a little bit tedious to try to like get all the stuff together. But these are all plants that I need to pot up like ASAP because they've been sitting for months that and they need to be potted up. So we're gonna do it today. We're gonna go through my prop box. I have a bunch of alocasia corms. I have some sphagnum moss babies. I have couple water propagations. I have lots of stuff going on. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy and let's get started. Let's run through the plants that I want to pot up. A couple of them I think I don't let's run through the plants that I want to pot up today. They're all in kind of they're not. Well, the good news is that I went around my house and like picked up all the propagations that I wanted to pot up, and there's a lot less than I thought there was. So that's a good idea. That's good because I have a habit of making repots last literally 3 hours. So that is great news. The first set of plants I want to pot up are the ones that are in my prop box. So you can see I kind of have like a couple Syngonium, I have like an Alocasia fried egg in there, I have some string of turtles, and I don't know what else in there. Lots of moss it looks like. So I want to get through this. I also want to get through this sphagnum moss propagation. It is my philodendron white wizard, and then I also have I don't know what this is. Oh, it's an Alocasia Morocco that I need to pot up. It looks like funky because this lid was on for a while and it got crumpled and stuck. So it is definitely, you can tell that it's in need of a pot up. And then I also have a Hoya Nova Ghost propagation. So honestly, I'll probably just I should probably just put this back in the pot that it came from. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll kind of show you how I like try to put it back in the pot with the mother plant. And then I have two Alocasia Macrorhizos variegateds that I also need to pot up. Those are just in a fluval perlite mix right now. And then I don't think this is the one that I don't know what this is. I think it's probably big enough to where I can do like a little Google image search to try to find out what it is, but it's got a big leaf coming in right there. So I wanted to get it up, and you can see the root system is also pretty intense. So I wanted to get that also into a pot. What time is it? Potting time. I love doing that. Okay, I'm gonna point you down to where you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm gonna start with my alocasias because those are the most that I have. I think I have 5 that I'm gonna do. I'm going to put them into self-watering pots because that is easy to maintain. I use the self-watering pots off of Amazon. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I do not like how much plastic that these pots use. So I am aware of that, and I'm going to try to not order these too much. Like, that's just crazy. Like, why are we wrapping plastic in plastic? I don't get it. I do not understand. Also, with these self-watering pots, they come with this wicking cord. Sometimes that's fine. Sometimes I feel like the cord either isn't too long, or I don't really trust its like wicking capabilities sometimes. So I do have my own wicking cord. Oh no, it's a great start. But I do have my own wicking cord that it's just like you buy it for like, I don't know, 12 feet for, it's not very expensive, but I just feel like it's higher quality and it probably wicks a little bit better. So I do use that more often than I use these. What I am gonna do is prep all 5 of these before I start undoing any of the smaller plants. And what I do to prep these is not much, but if you're gonna use one of these, I like to tie a knot in the rope because it can very easily just fall through if you like pick up it. I don't know, it just makes it easier while you're working with it, mainly in like while you're potting and stuff. And this is another reason why I don't like to use these, because they wind up being really short if you put a knot in them. But as you can see, like, it still has the wick, and then it'll reach the bottom, so it should be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And you can hear a voice. Okay, we have all of these ready for the plants and the substrate. The substrate that I'm going to use is pon. I opened and washed this pon this morning. That's the thing about pon. Like that, I feel like you can rinse a couple times and it's fine. But pon is so dirty. It's still, like, the water is still, like, coming, like, getting dirty. But there's a point where I just have to call it. And I'm like, you know, that's good enough. So we're going to be using pon with every single plant. I think if I find that some of the roots are too fine, like maybe with this one you can barely see the roots, I might use sphagnum moss. So that's just going to be a call that I make, like, whenever I see the roots of the plant. So I forgot to hit record on that last clip where I was taking out all of these from their little corn cups. But what I decided to do was just take them all out, remove the fluval perlite, and then I'm going to wash them up in the sink and kind of see what the roots are looking like. But as of right now, I'm thinking that this one is going to go into pon and these two are going to go into sphagnum moss, just because the roots are a little bit too thin and frail to, I think, go into the pon yet. So I went and washed them off. I love fluval perlite because it washes off so easily and you can see the root systems, and it's like there's not going to be any dirt or there's going to be a less amount of dirt, so that when you put it in the pon, there's a lot less risk of root rot. So that's one reason I really like that as a growing substrate. I went and cleaned off the mat, and I also washed off the roots of the plants, and they are looking nice. I love that the fluval perlite always cleans so nicely, so you don't have any, or you reduce the risk of root rot when you're putting it into a semi-hydro situation. And like I said, I think I'm going to do sphagnum moss for these two, and then pon for this one. Nice and easy. She's done. Now I just need to fill her up. Make sure the reservoir is filled with fertilizer water, especially because sphagnum moss is not a super nutrient dense substrate. So keeping this filled and she's good. Okay, we have the mystery alocasia potted up in pond. I did that off camera and I'm actually gonna find out what it is right now. So it turns out this is a alocasia longiloba purple vein, as I think what it is, or at least from the pictures I saw on the internet is what the closest it looks like, which I'm excited because I love longilobas. I just love the look of them and the shape and everything. So very excited about that. I'm actually going to print out a label real quick just to make sure I don't forget. I'm also going to make some labels for the alocasia macrorhizos variegated. Okay, so now that we're done with the alocasia corm cups, then I'm going to move on to the alocasias in sphagnum moss. First one I'm going to do is the one in the smaller container. I think I'm just going to take out the alocasia and go ahead and leave the white wizard. Actually, I don't know what to do with this white wizard. Yeah, let's just handle the alocasia right now and then we'll worry about the white wizard after that. So I'm going to try and wiggle her right. Sure. Just so you can see a little bit better. I'm gonna take these out and try to separate them. As you can see, there's a corm that did not take. Funny thing about sphagnum moss is that I can never know if I'm pulling on the sphagnum moss or if I'm pulling on a root, so this always really freaks me out. Well, that is pretty darn good if I don't say so myself. I think it's always so cool to look at how how this grows out of the corm. I think it's so cool. Did I put this upside down? Maybe I did. I still don't know what I'm doing completely with corms, so that's a 100% possibility. I think this root system is definitely good enough to go into pond, so that's what I'm gonna put her in. All right, there she is. She's looking nice, and I'm also gonna put a label on this one. We are now tackling the prop box. So my game plan with this is really just to dump everything out and kind of separate it into different types of plants. So we'll do that and then see where it goes. I went ahead and separated all of the moss from the plantlings, and I have my baby alocasia frydek. Don't know if the camera is picking that up, but that leaf is so pretty. I feel like every single time I look at an alocasia frydek, I just get mesmerized. I think they're so gorgeous. So I think that we're gonna put her in pond. And then I also have, I think, another, either this is a poly. I think that this is an alocasia poly. If not, it might be a longiloba, but I can't tell when they're this young. So I think this is a mystery corm, but my guess is an alocasia poly. And then I also have a couple wet sticks of the my Syngonium albo that I had in there. So I'll probably put these up in a little bit of soil and maybe give it to a friend. Probably, I already have so many of these, so that's probably going to be a friend gift or some sort of like plant market swap or something like that. And then I also have just a bunch of string of turtles, and I really want a string of turtles, so I think I'm going to find a pot that's try to find one that's a little bit wider and just use some of my flower stakes to pin the roots downwards to try to get them rooted in the soil and hopefully keep the soil moist. So that is the plan. Next up is my Hoya Nova Ghost propagation that I'm going to put back into the mother plant. So for this one, I'm going to try as best as I can to just make a hole with this tool in the pot and just try to stick the propagation in as best as I can. cool. So I broke the leaf. But we have roots in there. I stuck the propagation right in there, so hopefully a new leaf will grow, and that is awesome. Thank you so much for joining me for this propagation pot up and small plant pot up. There was some things that went awry, but there was also some good that came out of it, and I'm really happy with the little plants that I have. So yes, that will be it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.